Hello and welcome. My name is Lauren, and I am about to guide you through a slow flow yoga practice where we focus on back bends. And the back bends I've chosen for today's practice are all about strengthening the back while taking the back bend. So I'll talk a little bit about it as we're in it, of course. But there's a difference between back bends where you're using your arms to do the work and back bends where you're using your back to do the work. One's not better than the other. It's just what part of your body do you want to do the work? So I'm choosing for you. I want your back to do the work. I want to strengthen your back. So that's what we're going to do in with those back bends. Like every other yoga practice and every other time you're moving your body, things should feel productive, comfortable, beneficial, nothing sharp, nothing shooting, nothing painful. And that goes for your back, of course. All right, for the practice, you're going to need two blocks or two things like blocks, and we're going to start on our back. You're welcome to bring something under the back of your head here, but we're going to start on our backs, so come on down. All right, so find a comfortable position here on your back. Finding a place where you can just rest. I mentioned that we're going to focus on poses that require your back to do work, to strengthen, to engage, but we're not there yet. So now we just want everything to relax, everything to soften. And allow yourself to come into the present moment. And there's a lot of different ways to come into the present moment, to ground or center yourself. But one way is using your senses, getting really back into your body. And so start by noticing any sounds you can hear. Without getting pulled into the story of what that thing is or why that sound is happening. Just notice the sounds around you. And maybe your eyes are open, maybe your eyes are closed, but take a moment to notice what you see. Maybe it's just the darkness from your eyelids. Maybe you see a sliver of light. But notice what's in your visual field. And now move on to touch and notice what you feel. Even as you're resting in stillness, your body is touching several things. And maybe wherever you're at, there's a breeze or you can feel the sun on your skin. Notice what you feel. And now notice what you smell. Even if it's something mild, even if it's subtle, notice if there's an aroma. Is there something that you can smell right where you're at in this moment, in the space that you're in? What can you smell? And finally, what can you taste? Again, it might be subtle, but what is the taste in your mouth right now? Just notice. And then you can slowly release that focus on your senses. Bring your attention for just a few moments to your breath. Notice how many of your senses are involved with breathing, how many senses interact or experience breathing. And just take a few deep breaths here, taking big, full, deep breaths. And take about 3 more big, deep breaths just like this. And keeping your attention inward, present in this moment. If it feels right, maybe you set an intention for your practice. Silently and slowly repeat a positive word or phrase to allow it to settle in your heart. And then start to deepen your breath again. And this time, let those deep breaths invite movements throughout the entire body. Wake everything up. Maybe rock the head, wiggle fingers and toes, move arms and legs. Take a few moments. Move however it feels good to move. Stay for one more breath. Okay. All right. We're going to stay on our backs, knees bent, feet flat. Feet and knees hip distance. Arms can rest alongside the body or just wherever is comfortable. We're just starting off small with the pelvic tilt. So relax your legs. Let your seat stay on the ground. Shoulders and arms relaxed, and shoulders stay on the ground. As you inhale, arch your back, lift your low back, lift your ribs like you're pointing your belly button towards your thighs. From the side, your spine looks like the shape of a rainbow. And then as you exhale, push the lower back and the ribs down into the ground, push into the ground, tuck the tailbone, belly button to the face. You should feel your core turn on. Inhale, arch the back, create that rainbow shape. Belly button points to the thighs. Exhale, push down into the ground, tuck the tailbone, belly button to the face. Keep moving at your own pace, just like this. Remember, especially as we're warming up, these movements can be really mild and really subtle if that's what you need today. So always remember that. Again, especially with the warm up, we're just starting to get into these spaces for maybe the first time today in this way. And so there's no expectation that you're going to start off really big or fast or anything like that. So let's do a few more of these. Keep relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your arms all the way to your fingertips. Soften the throat, neck, and jaw. Make sure your breath is smooth and fluid. Relax the legs. Resist the temptation to push the feet into the ground. Let this be about the pelvis. Let's be about the lower back and do just one more of each. All right, and then return back to neutral, back to the center. Now, if you've got something under the back of your head, I would remove it. But nothing under your head here. And grab onto one of your blocks, and we're going to place it between the inner thighs. So we're going to bring the block between the inner thighs just as a placeholder so that we're sure that the knees and thighs continue to stay hip distance apart. Okay, so arms alongside the body, this time palms down. You're still going to relax the arms and hands though. Resist the temptation to push the arms into the ground. Now we're going to start with the pelvic tilt, just starting with that tuck of the tailbone. We don't have to do the whole thing. So tuck your tailbone, push your lower back and your ribs into the ground, like you're pointing your belly button towards your face, but relax your shoulders, relax your arms. Feel your core turn on. Maybe you even feel the inner thighs a little bit deeper into the pelvic, your deeper core muscles, tucking the tailbone, and then start to push the feet into the ground. Keep the tuck of the tailbone as you lift your hips. Lift your lower back. Lift your mid back up, coming into a bridge. Keep the tuck of the tailbone, belly button to the face, and slowly lower down. Drop the mid back. Drop the low back. Drop your hips, drop your seat. Tuck your tailbone, belly button to the face. Inhale, rise. Lift. Reach up, squeeze your glutes at the top, squeeze your backside. Keep the tuck of the tailbone, belly button to the face as you exhale and lower. And slowly release, coming all the way down. Push the feet down, inhale, rise. Lift up, squeeze in, contract the backside. Exhale, gradually and softly lower down. Do just a few more like this. Just as you are, maybe as you lift your hips, you lift your arms up, reaching your fingertips up, and then eventually back, and then allowing both the torso and the arms to drop back down, moving at the same pace. But again, focus on that tuck of the tailbone. We want the lower back to work, but we also want it to lengthen. We don't want to crunch in the lower back. So again, lengthening the lower back like you're pointing your belly button towards your face. Do about 2 or 3 more of these, just like this, evenly pushing into the right and left foot, evenly pushing into the base of the big toe and the base of the little toe. They take the same amount of weight. And then again, keeping the knees, the thighs, hip distance with that block. All right, now next time you lower down, pause there. We'll just rest for a moment. So resting with your spine back on the mat, back in neutral, just take a breath. All right, we're going to do one more bridge. This time we're going to take a longer hold. So really ground through the feet, connect the bottoms of your feet to your mat. Think about the 4 corners of your feet pushing down evenly into those 4 corners, not just the base of the big toe and base of the little toe, but even inside and outside of the heel. Okay, tuck the tailbone, belly button towards the face, push the lower back down, push the ribs down. Inhale, lift up, reach up, rise up. Squeeze your glutes, tuck your tailbone, relax your shoulders. Make sure you're breathing. And now you can stay just like here with the arms alongside the body or up overhead, or maybe tuck the shoulders under the chest, like you're really puffing your chest up towards the sky, broadening the collarbones. And then maybe you interlace your fingers and reach your knuckles like you're reaching towards your feet, towards the top of your mat. But lift the chest up, squeeze the glutes, tuck the tailbone, belly button to the face. Ground through the feet, evenly through the 4 corners of the feet, and maybe really extend those arms, reaching the knuckles forward. Relax throat, neck, and jaw. Relax the muscles of your face. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. One more deep breath. Stay present. Stay in your body. And then you can release the hands, untuck the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. Keep the tuck of the tailbone, belly button towards the face as you slowly lower down. Gradually drop down onto the ground, and then you can remove the block. Set it off to the side, come to constructive resting pose. Bring the feet out wide, knock the knees in, and take a few breaths. Let your lower back relax. So I'll be asking you to engage your lower back, but we often need to make sure we're giving it a break after. We don't want to go right from one to the next. A lot of times that causes lower back pain, not just in the moment, but sort of chronic lower back pain is often because the lower back is working and is constantly working and never really turns off. And so we want to make sure that while we're moving through these things, yes, we're asking it to work, but we got to give it a moment to rest. So take 3 deep breaths here. All right, and then inhale. Exhale, hug the knees into your chest. Maybe you rock from side to side. This is another good way to release some of that tension in your lower back. If you think about the shape that you're in here, this is Apanasana, hugging the knees into the chest. You're basically in child's pose, like upside down, right? Instead of your shins on the ground, it's your back on the ground. So it's a similar shape, but a lot less pressure in the knees. So this is another good one. You can kind of rock and roll around. Maybe you let your knees come away from you and in. Maybe little circles, maybe big circles. Just one more breath. Okay. And then we're going to come on up, so you can rock through to the center or you can roll over to the side, but push yourself up. And we're going to meet in tabletop. So let's come on to all fours on our hands and knees. I always like to bring blocks to the top 2/4 of the mat. We're not going to be here too long, but of course you're always welcome to pad under your knees if you've got it, or put a kink in the mat. But we're just going to move through a few cat and cows. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And as you inhale, drop the belly. Belly button points towards the thighs. Ribs fall towards the mat. Chest lifts. You look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone. Ribs to the sky. Chin to the chest. Look towards your belly button. Belly button to the face. Inhale, drop the belly. Drop the ribs. Lift the chest. Lift the heart. Look forward. Exhale, tuck the tailbone. Ribs to the sky. Chin to the chest. Look at your belly. Just a few more like this. Move with your breath. Move at a slow, controlled pace, and allow the movement to start at your tailbone. Let it start way down low, lowest section of the spine, and then it travels up like a wave very gradually all along the spine. Do one more of each. All right, and then return to neutral. Come back to tabletop. If you put a kink in your mat, I would get rid of it because it might get in the way here. So from tabletop, let's walk the hands one whole handprint closer to the top of the mat. Spread the fingers wide. Really ground through the base of your pointer finger and the webbing between your pointer finger and thumb. Hook the toes under. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let's stay for a few breaths. Take any movement that feels good. Don't be afraid to explore the poses within your body. As long as you're moving slow and intentional and thoughtful, just trust yourself that you know what your body is asking, that you're safe within your own body, that your intentions are good. So taking some movements here, maybe a little bit of a pelvic tilt, which you'll have to do with your knees bent, probably deeply bent, but any movement that feels good. Just maybe 3 more breaths here. Okay. All right. From downward facing dog, deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward by the thumbs, and exhale, take baby steps. Walk forward towards forward fold Uttanasana. Feet hip distance apart, toes forward. And again, don't be afraid to explore. So maybe you have a soft bend in your knees. Maybe you have a deep bend. Maybe you grab the elbows. Maybe you let the arms hang. Maybe you take yoga mudra, interlace the fingers and reach them up overhead. Maybe you sway, maybe you stay still. Again, explore what these poses feel like, especially these poses that you're really familiar with.
Maybe a brand new pose is not the pose to explore, but a pose like this that you've done what probably feels like a million times. See what happens if you start to just change small things. 3 more breaths. All right. And then let's come back to a traditional forward fold. So toes forward, weight out of the toes and the heels, soft bend in the knees. Inhale, lift up halfway, reach the crown of your head forward, tailbone back. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Push the heels down into the ground and inhale, rise all the way up. We're going to do a few more of these just like this. So exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Push the heels down, inhale, rise all the way up. Circle the arms, maybe even look up if it feels okay in the neck. Let's do 2 more. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way up. Make the legs do the work. Maybe even look up. Let's do 1 more, a half sun salutation. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Ground through the heels. Inhale, rise, Urdhva Hastasana. Lifting the chest, lifting the heart, and then exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Let's move through full sun salutation. So inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step the right foot back, deeply bend the knees, bring the hands down onto either blocks or the mat. But wherever your hands are, or whatever your hands are on, I should say, your hands are under your shoulders. Okay. So really reach that right heel back, lengthen that right leg, like you're getting that right knee away from the mat, lift it up away from the ground, really charge that right heel back, push the left hand down, push the left heel down, hands down, 1 more breath, runner's lunge. Inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Take your time, it might take more than 1 breath, that's okay. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Spread your fingers, ground your hands. Inhale, shift forward, plank pose. Now you know you can drop to your knees or stay on your toes. But think about lengthening your lower back. Can you tuck your tailbone just a little bit, like you're putting a wrinkle in the front of your shirt by your belly button and getting rid of the wrinkles by your lower back. So engage the front side. Feel the work in the front side. Stay strong. Stay with it. 1 more breath. You've got this. Staying with this plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower. Maybe you drop to your knees first, but keep the elbows in tight and keep clawing the mat as you lower. Tops of the feet come down onto the ground. Bring your hands under your shoulders. Lift the hands up so they just hover over the ground. And look down at your mat. No wrinkles in the back of your neck. And start to slowly lift your chest up. Now you're not going to lift up very high. We're starting right here. These back bends that require work. Well, we actually already did one, bridge. But same thing, we're lifting up. So it's not a large movement, but it is work. So it's different. It's a different way to experience a back bend. Stay for 1 more breath. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hands. Inhale, tuck the toes. Exhale, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Pick up the right foot. Reach the right heel up and back. Push through the heel. Inhale. Exhale, bend the right knee. Draw the knee into the belly and quietly place the right foot in between the hands. Pushing and pulling is perfectly fine. And then again, hands can be on whatever they need to be on, but hands are under the shoulders. Push the hands down. Lift the chest. Push that right heel down, but keep deeply bending the right knee forward as you send the left heel back. Get the left knee away from the ground. Lift it up. Lengthen the left leg. Inhale. Exhale, step forward, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, rise all the way up, circle the arms, lift the chest, Urdhva Hastasana. Let's do it one more time. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step the left foot back, all the way back. Starting in this runner's lunge. So each foot is in its own lane of traffic, toes forward, all the same setup as before. And you can stay here or maybe bring your hands to the top of the right thigh, lift the torso. Now, unlike before, it's going to be more challenging to keep that back leg straight. So you might lift the heel, bend the knee, tuck the tailbone, and then feel it a little bit more in the hip flexor. Hip flexors are a big part of allowing the body to come into back bends, because if the hip flexors are tight, the spine wants to come forward, not back. So then maybe you lengthen even a little bit more and reach the fingertips up towards the sky, crescent lunge. Create a wrinkle in the front of your shirt by your belly button. Open up through the hip flexor. So you're not in a back bend, but you're allowing the space to open to help a back bend later. One more breath. Crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down, step back, downward facing dog. And again, if it takes you more than just one breath, that's all right. You move at your own pace. You listen to your own body. Now spread your fingers. Find and create a strong, steady base. All right. Inhale, shift forward. Plank pose, shoulders over elbows, elbows over wrists. Creases of the elbows forward. The pits of your elbows are facing forward. Middle finger is forward. Push the base of the pointer finger down. Webbing between pointer finger and thumb down. Tuck the tailbone. Lengthen the lower back. One more breath. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, slowly lower. Maybe drop to the knees first or stay on the toes, but slowly lower. Keep the elbows in tight. Use control. Use your muscles. Tops of the feet down. Hands under the shoulders. Lift the hands. Lift the chest. Look down at your mat. Lengthen the back of the neck, but lift the chest away from the ground. Now, even though you're lifting your chest away from the ground, can you let your shoulders come away from your ears, but also let the shoulders come away from the mat? Can you create a wrinkle in your upper back between your shoulder blades, between the scapula, sort of down the center, along the spine? Can you create a wrinkle there as you pull the heart forward? One more breath. Inhale. Exhale, lower the hands, lower the chest. Inhale, tuck the toes under. Exhale, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, pick up the left foot, reach the left heel up and back. Inhale. Exhale, bend the left knee, draw the knee into the belly, quietly, softly place the left foot down in between the hands, taking as many steps as you need to get it there. So again, hands can come down onto whatever they need to come down onto, and then check in with the legs, each foot in their own lane of traffic, toes forward, back heel off the ground. You absolutely could stay here, or bring your hands to the top of the left thigh. Find some stability first. Now again, you could keep the back leg straight, but you're not going to feel it quite as much in the hip flexor. So maybe lift the heel, bend the knee, tuck the tailbone, lengthen the spine. It's not a back bend, but it's going to help us prep. So feel that opening in the hip flexor, and then maybe let the arms lift up. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Take some deep breaths. One more breath, crescent lunge. Inhale. Exhale, bring the hands down, step forward, forward, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lift up halfway, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Push the heels down, inhale, rise all the way up, lifting, reaching, lengthening, maybe at a back bend, and then exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. We're just going to keep going. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step the right foot back, but we're taking a shorter stance. We're setting up for warrior one. So the right foot isn't stepped back all the way. You might step it forward a little hop. And then each heel is in its own lane of traffic. Deeply bend the left knee, hands to the top of the left thigh, help lift the torso. And then again, once you feel stable, you're in no rush, then let the arms float up. Relax the shoulders. Okay. So allow this front leg to do some work. Deeply bend the left knee, knee over the ankle. Feel the work in the top of the left thigh. And this right leg, allow it to lengthen. Push down and back with the right heel, right pinky toe side of the foot, but the right hip comes forward like this right leg is lengthening. Okay, now we're going to add a little bit of movement. You know you can stay here. The movement is optional, but if you take the movement, we're going to push through the left heel. Straighten that left leg, push through the heel, and take goalposts in the arms, bend at the elbows, and maybe lift the chest, take a bit of a back bend. We're going to move with the breath. Inhale back to warrior two, bend the knees, straighten the arms. Exhale, straighten the leg, bend the arms, lift the chest, take a bit of a back bend. A few more. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, lift the chest. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, open through the chest. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more of each. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. We're going to hold it here. Coming into warrior one, hold it here. Now make sure you're not in a back bend anymore. Draw the ribs in. Create a wrinkle by the front of your shirt by your belly button. And then bring your hands to your hips. We're coming to a balance pose. Look at something on the floor, something that won't move. Lock your eyes onto a fixed spot. Keeping the hands at the hips and the hips level and forward. Start to walk the right foot forward. Come up to the tip of your right big toe. And then slowly allow that foot to just float ever so softly away from the ground. It might lift up an inch. It might lift up a few feet. But you're still balancing on one foot. Okay, now push back through that right heel, right toes pointing down to the ground. Left leg is long and strong and powerful. Hands can stay at the hips, arms can reach out, fingertips can reach forward, but warrior three, Virabhadrasana 3 for 2 more breaths. Stay strong and powerful in that left leg, light and lifted in the right. And then deeply bend the left knee. Let the right foot touch down towards the back of the mat. All right. Inhale, let the arms come up. Exhale, let the hands come down. And we're going to pause here. So we want to take a longer stance now. So you might have to sort of shimmy that right leg back. And the heel will come off the ground. We're going to take a twist. So we're going to firm up that right hand, maybe on a block, maybe on the mat, but under the shoulder. Inhale, lengthen the spine, crown of the head forward. Exhale, left fingertips to the sky, taking a twist. Now, maybe you just reach fingertips straight up overhead. Maybe you reach fingertips at a diagonal. Or maybe you take a half bind. You can do what feels best for you. If you're looking for a deeper twist and maybe more in the right shoulder, maybe your right hand comes to the pinky toe side of that left foot. But take some version of a twisting lunge. Keep bending the left knee forward and draw the left knee in towards your belly. Push the base of your left big toe down. 2 more breaths, twisted lunge. Inhale, exhale, bring the left hand down. Inhale, exhale, step back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths to transition however you would like. Moving, resting, working, stillness, whatever you need, just keep breathing. All right, and then we'll meet in downward facing dog. From down dog. Deeply bend the knees. Inhale, look forward by the thumbs. Exhale, travel forward, walk, step, or jump. Forward fold, Uttanasana. We'll come right into the second side from here. So inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, step the left foot back. But again, we're not taking a long stance. It's a little bit of a shorter stance. So pivot the foot, ground the heel. Each heel is in its own lane of traffic. Bend the right knee, hands to the top of the right thigh. Give yourself a moment, settle in. And then when you're ready, arms float up. Fingertips reach to the sky, palms face each other, but relax the shoulders away from the ears. Now don't push your shoulders down. That's just as bad, if not worse. Relax your shoulders. Relax from the ear to the jaw, down the side of the throat, top of the shoulders. Relax that space. All right, deeply bend the right knee, top of the thigh, working hard. Left leg feeling like it is almost like it's being pulled into opposite directions. The left hip comes forward, but the left heel goes back. It really is going into opposite directions, lengthening that left leg. Now you absolutely could stay here, stay still, or push through the right heel to straighten the right leg. Take goalpost, lift the chest, and a bit of an upper back bend. Inhale back into warrior one, bending the knee. Exhale, straighten the leg, lift the chest. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, expand through the heart. Let's do 3 more. Move with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more of each. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale into warrior one and hold it here. Bend that front knee deeply. Push through the front heel. You can still wiggle your right toes. All right. Now make sure your spine is in neutral, and we're going to bring the hands to the hips. So lengthen the spine. We're not in a back bend. Look at something on the floor, something that won't move. Start to walk that left foot in, come up to the tip of the big toe, and then slowly let the foot float up. Lifting it up and away. Again, whether it comes off the ground a half an inch or a foot, you're still balancing on one foot. You're still working towards that same goal. So don't get in your head about where you're at. Just experience what your body is experiencing. Firm up that right leg. Notice how strong it is. Lengthen that left leg. Notice how light it feels. Lengthen the spine. Do what you need to with the arms, but let's stay for 3 more breaths in warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. Balancing on this right leg. You've got it. Keep your eyes on a fixed spot. 1 more breath. And then deeply bend the right knee. Let the left foot touch down towards the back of the mat. Allow the spine to return back to neutral. Take a moment. Again, no rush. And then inhale, let the arms come up. Exhale, bring the hands down. We're going to hold it here for a moment. We're going to take this twist so the left leg is going to slide back, sort of shimmy it back a bit. Left hand is under the left shoulder, maybe on a block, maybe on the ground, but inhale, crown of the head forward. Exhale, right fingertips to the sky. Take a twist. All right, now the right fingertips can reach up. Maybe you reach your arm at a diagonal, so it's like your bicep is by your right ear. Maybe you take a half bind. Do what you need. Maybe if you're looking for a deeper twist and more in the left shoulder, the left hand comes to the outside of the foot towards the pinky toe side. So it's like pinky toe and pinky finger are side by side. Okay. And then also, of course, listen to your neck for more of a stretch look up or less look down. But rotate in the spine. Draw your right inner thigh into your belly. Push in the base of your right big toe as you draw the left heel back. 2 more breaths and a twisted lunge. Inhale. Exhale, bring the right hand down. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take any movement that feels good for you and keep breathing. One more breath where you're at. All right. Now we're all going to come down onto our stomach. So however you need to get there, Come on down, flat onto your stomach. And maybe move your blocks. There's a chance they'll be in the way. All right. So we're going to move through some more of these back bends. But let's at first take some that don't require your back to work, just so you can sort of feel the difference. All right. So let's bring the forearms down onto the ground. Elbows are under the shoulders. And then to know whether your elbows are shoulder width, because a lot of times people have their elbows too wide. They're closer to mat distance, not shoulder distance. So one way here on your forearms that you can know is you should be able to curl your fingers around, not just let your fingertips brush your arm, but let your fingertips sort of curl around your triceps. So then you know that's shoulder distance. And then allow the forearms to come forward so forearms look like the number 11. Spread the fingers, push the palms down. Now let your ribs feel heavy, allowing your heart to pull forward. You can kind of look towards your hands or look forward. And then push your forearms and elbows down into the ground like you're reaching the crown of your head up towards the sky. So yes, the hips and ribs feel heavy and sort of sag towards the ground, but you're using the strength of your arms to reach the crown of your head up high, and then use the strength of your arms and a little bit in your back here to pull your heart forward, broaden through your collarbones. Like I've said before, can you create a wrinkle in your upper back along the length of your spine between the shoulder blades? So get rid of the wrinkles by your collarbones and create wrinkles in that same space, just on the back side. Okay, so notice the work that you feel. The back is working here. This is Sphinx pose, but so are the arms. Pull the heart forward, reach the crown of the head up. Notice the section of your back, the section of your spine that feels the sensation here. Stay for 2 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, slowly lower. You can just let the elbows come out. Maybe you stack your hands or stack fists and rest your forehead or your cheek, or just rest your head down on your mat, whatever you need. Just give yourself a moment. So we're going to keep going through some of these back bends. We're going to do one more back bend that relies on your arms to do the work, and then we'll switch to where your back has to do the work. But either way, from now on, if you want to rest, you come down onto your stomach, not child pose. If you take a child pose, it's sort of like taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's the opposite. It's sort of counterproductive, I guess I could say. So if you need a rest, this is where you come. Okay, take another breath here. All right. So Sphinx, your back was working, and you probably felt it more in sort of your mid back, in a section that we don't really focus on, in a section of your spine that really doesn't have a lot of mobility. So it's kind of a funky feeling. Let's come to something you're more familiar with. Bring the hands under the shoulders, and as long as you can keep the heel of the hand down, maybe you slide your hands back a little bit closer to your hips, so it's like they're more in line with your ribs as opposed to your shoulders. But again, heel of the hands got to be down. Draw the elbows in, let the tops of the feet rest on the ground, and inhale, rise up any amount. Now, maybe you only lift up to the height of Sphinx, and you still feel it in your mid-back, but again, same rules apply. Shoulders down and back. Create wrinkles along your spine in the back side. Get rid of the wrinkles in the front, especially by the collarbone and the chest. Or maybe you really push the hands down and straighten the arms. Come to Cobra, Bhujangasana. Now, Cobra, you're going to feel it more in your lower back, not necessarily in the mid-back. But like Sphinx, we need heaviness. So now let the tops of your thighs feel heavy. Allow the tops of the thighs to feel like gravity's really pulling them down, but you are resisting. Your arms are going to work here. Push the hands down. Lift. Crown of the head to the sky. Lift up into the armpits. Get the ears away from the shoulders. So hands are pushing down like they are in plank. This is active. Arms have to work hard here in Cobra. Spread the fingers. Push the hands down. Crown of the head up. Shoulders away from the ears, and then shoulders back. Get rid of the wrinkles in the front of your shirt. Create them in the back. Pull the heart forward. Notice that the arms are doing all the work, but it's a deep stretch in the back. 2 more breaths. Bhujangasana, Cobra. Inhale, exhale, slowly lower, dropping all the way down. Again, taking any position you need with your arms, with your head, with your neck. Just take a few deep breaths. Maybe as you're resting here for each one of these moments where we're pausing, you might bend your knees and let your feet sort of sway or do circles. That usually feels good too. Take another breath. Okay. All right. So now let's start asking the back to do the work. So we've already done this several times before. This time we're just going to bring the arms alongside the body. Palms will face in towards the thighs, thumbs down towards the floor. Like before, you're going to keep looking down at your mat for this one. So make sure you're lengthening through the back of the neck. No wrinkles in the back of the neck. Look down at your mat. Push your hips down. Inhale, lift your head, neck, chest, shoulders, arms, hands. Reach your fingertips back towards your feet and draw your palms a little bit closer together, which will create a wrinkle in your upper back along your spine between your shoulder blades, which is what we want. We want your upper back to work. And the deeper of a wrinkle you can create, the more you know your back is working, the upper back. Now, the higher you lift your chest away from the ground, that's determined by how hard your lower back is working. So both are working here. Lift the chest, lengthen the spine, reach fingertips back, palms closer together. One more breath, exactly as you are, lifting the upper body. Inhale, exhale, slowly release. Again, position arms, head and neck, however feels good. Maybe you move your legs around. But again, no child's pose. One more breath. All right. Now for this one, you're going to stack your hands, one hand on top of the other, palms down, and then rest your forehead on the back of one of your hands. I want your head and neck supported, and I want your upper body to be able to relax and be as symmetrical as possible. So just let your forehead feel heavy on the ground, arms heavy on the ground. Lengthen your legs. So pick up each leg one at a time and sort of reach your toes back, like you're almost trying to touch a wall that's just an inch out of your reach. Okay, so legs are long, hips are long. This is where hip flexors tend to tighten everything up. Relax your upper body. Push the hips down. Inhale, lift your legs. Now you're still reaching your toes back, the bottoms of your feet back, but also draw the feet closer together and get them away from the ground. Lift the tops of the thighs away from the ground, not just bending at the knees and getting the shins away from the ground, but lift the tops of the thighs. Draw the feet a little closer together. Lengthen the legs. Relax your upper body. Let your forehead feel heavy on your hand. Let your arms feel heavy on the ground. One more breath, lifting the legs. Notice the work in your back side, and then slowly lower down. You can rest however you like. Maybe bend the knees, move the feet, move the legs. So when we lift the upper body, we can feel a little bit more in the upper back. When we lift the lower body, we feel a little bit more in the lower back, but both spaces are working in both variations. We're going to do that again. You're going to have the option to do both of those together, the upper body and the lower body together simultaneously. You don't have to do that though. You could do just the upper body or just the lower body. All right. Arms alongside the body, palms face in towards the thighs, thumbs point down towards the floor. You're looking down at the floor, lengthening the back of your neck. Push your hips down, lift your chest, lift your shoulders, lift your arms, lift your hands, fingertips back, palms closer together. Maybe you even interlace your fingers and reach the knuckles back. Keep lengthening through the back of the neck, crown of the head forward, and maybe you lift your legs. Lift the tops of the thighs away from the ground, lengthen the legs, and can you draw the feet a little closer together? So hands closer together, feet closer together, both lifted, both lengthened. Push the hips down, lift everything else up. Notice how hard your back has to work compared to something like Cobra or even Sphinx. Your back has to work, so it is getting stronger. One more breath, Savasana, locust pose. Inhale, Exhale, slowly lower it. Again, take what feels good, movement, stillness, whatever works. And because I'm sure you're probably wondering, how many more of these do we have to do? The answer is one. We're going to do one more. And you have all the same options. I'm going to give you one more option. We're building here. Can you tell? So you can take any one of the steps, any one of the progressions, any one of the options we've already gone over. This time, I'm going to give you the option for Dhanurasana bow pose, which requires more work in the body as well as a deeper shape. So think the work of what we just did plus the shape of cobra. So it's like combining cobra and what we just did. So if you're interested, you can take it. If you're not interested, you don't have to take it. All right. So I'll cue you through all of it though. Bring the arms alongside the body, palms face in, look down at the mat. Push the hips down, lift the upper body, head, neck, chest, shoulders, arms, and hands, fingertips back, palms closer together. Push down with the hips, lift up with the chest, lengthen the back of the neck. And then maybe lift the legs, lift the tops of the thighs away from the ground. Lengthen the legs, draw the feet closer together. You can stay here, you can interlace the fingers, or maybe bend at the knees, grab onto the tops of your feet where your shoelaces would go. Keep drawing knees, feet, and hands closer together to the midline, closer like they're trying to get them to touch, and then kick foot into hand, hand into foot, lifting up, creating this bow shape. This is bow, Dhanurasana. Keep lengthening through the back of your neck. So maybe you're looking at forward of your mat, but no wrinkles in the back of the neck, but wrinkles between the shoulder blades. Really create those deep wrinkles. Pull the heart forward. Draw the shoulders down and back. Really lift the chest, lift the heart, lift the tops of the thighs. One more breath. Bow, Dhanurasana. Inhale. Exhale, very slowly lower. Don't slingshot the legs. Slowly lower. And again, take what feels good. Take some deep breaths. Notice what you're feeling. Notice what your body has to say. Take two more breaths here. All right. Now, since we're done with the deep back bending, and especially the work-based back bending, now it's okay to take a child's pose. So you're welcome if you prefer to rest here, you can stay here. Or if you're like, oh, I have been dying for a child's pose, which is a signal that your lower back is probably pretty tight. I was feeling it too. I was like, oh, I can't wait for the child's pose. It's tightness in the lower back, and that's all right. Just about everybody's got it. So if it feels good to take child's pose, know that you can have your knees together, you can have your knees wide, but take something that feels good and stay for a few breaths. Take 3 more breaths here, just as you are. All right, and then if you're in child's pose, slide your hands so they're under your shoulders. Push your hands into the ground, lift your torso upright. And from wherever you're at, we're going to come down onto our backs, but actually, well, we are, but I have to explain what we're doing first. So grab onto your blocks. Well, let me explain first. We're going to come into a restorative pose. You know what that means. I don't have to explain that. I know who I'm talking to. I know my crowd. I know my audience. And I'm going to give you options because I know everybody who's watching this video. I will just give you options because I trust you. I don't give everybody options like this. I want you to take a restorative back bend. So that might mean fish pose, which looks something like this, sort of the 2 blocks, making that letter T shape. That's
That's a really nice like chest and shoulder opener. That's really great, especially if you're sitting in front of a computer at a desk in a car, that sort of thing. Like if you sit a lot, this is probably a really, really good one. It's good, I should say, for the upper part. Bridge pose is also very good if you're sitting a lot more in the hips and lower back section. So it depends on what you're looking for. You probably know both poses, so I'm just going to let you choose which one you like better, supported bridge or fish pose. So if you're in fish, you've got to set that up before you come down. But if you want bridge, which is what I'll be doing, you come down first. And if you're taking bridge, have nothing under the back of your head. You're just going to have your block under you. All right. So bridge, we already did some bridges. Same thing. And you can just bring the block. Make sure it's at your sacrum, not your lower back. And then again, keeping in mind like the lighthearted exploration of yoga in your body, notice, depending on the exact placement of your pelvis, especially if you're in bridge, which direction is your belly button pointing? Is it pointing towards your thighs or is it pointing towards your face? And I'm not telling you one is right or one is wrong. They're just going to feel a little different. So explore, find what you like. Fish, if you're in fish, the placement of that second block, the one that's parallel to your spine, that your spine is sort of resting on, you can move that around to find the exact section of your spine you want to take on the deepest part of the back bend. So usually we sort of have it between the shoulder blades, but if you want to accentuate the back bend in the lower back in that pose, you could just slide the block down a little bit. So again, explore. Again, these are poses you're familiar with. So try them out different ways, see what works, see what doesn't work. All right, and then settle in. So wherever you're at, of course, if you're still getting situated, go ahead, keep going. And then in either pose, check in with what you've done with your arms. Arms might come out in opposite directions. That's going to give you sort of the biggest bang for your buck, especially in the shoulders, the chest and shoulders. And if you're in fish, you could have your knees bent, feet flat, or you can have your legs lengthened. Same thing in bridge. You've got different leg options. Just really listen to your lower back in either pose. Don't allow your ego to determine what pose you take. Allow your body. Get back into your senses. So what does your body have to say? What information is it trying to relay to you? That's what all of your senses are about. Absorbing, decoding, interpreting information. And so what's the information your body is receiving? Stay wherever you're at for 3 more deep breaths. Okay. And then in either pose, maybe start to wiggle your fingers or toes. If you're in fish pose and your head is on a block, maybe you rock your head side to side, but not if you're in bridge. And then maybe ankles and wrists and arms and legs move around a little bit. Okay, if you're in bridge pose, you'll push your feet down, lift your hips, slide the block, and slowly lower down. If you're in fish pose, you'll bend your knees, feet flat, and slowly roll off the blocks all the way off. So you're in a tucked fetal position, and then push the blocks off to the side, and we'll all meet, knees bent, feet flat, resting right on the mat, no props underneath. Just to again observe what information your body is trying to communicate to you. What are you feeling? All right, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, hug your knees into your chest. Notice how it feels to do so, because this is sort of the opposite of what we've been doing. And so, keeping in mind how it feels, maybe you hug your knees in, maybe you rock side to side, maybe you take happy baby. Maybe you let your head go along for the ride, massage the back of your skull. Maybe you take a full body stretch, but give yourself about 3 to 5 breaths. One last time to be where you'd like to be. And then settle into Shavasana, into final resting pose, your final relaxation. Coming back to a still position that takes no work, no effort, just rest. And if you find that your mind wanders, which is very normal, maybe you come back to all of your senses, or you pick one, or maybe return back to your breath or your intention. But have one point of focus, one soft point of focus. So you're connected to the present moment. Slowly deepen your breath. And as you invite these deep breaths into your body, fill your whole body with these breaths. Imagine filling every part of you with these deep, nourishing breaths. And then allowing movement throughout your body. Rock your head side to side. Run your thumbs over the rest of your fingers as you wiggle your toes. Roll wrists and ankles. Move arms and legs. You can reach your arms overhead, stretching as if you just woke up from a long nap. Fingertips and toes in opposite directions. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, hug your knees into your chest. And slowly roll over onto either side in a tucked fetal position, resting your ear on your arm to support your head and neck. And using the strength of both arms, push down into the ground. Come up to a comfortable seat. Take a moment here to thank yourself for making it to your mat today. And maybe reflect on your intention. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, and may the thoughts, words, and actions of my life contribute in some way to the happiness and freedom for all. Now let's join the hands together in front of the heart in Anjali Mudra. We'll chant the sound of Om one time. You're welcome to join me or just listen. But the intention is to come back to this sacred mantra that unites us all together. Again, we'll just chant the sound of Om just once. Let's start with a deep and clearing breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for Om. The light or the good in me acknowledges, respects, and bows to the light or the good in you. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me, for following along, for participating, for listening to your body, as I hope you were. And if on the off chance that your back is feeling a little tight, maybe tomorrow or the next day, it's probably just sore, just like any other muscle, right? When we do a lot of core work, your abs are sore. So when we do a lot of back work, your back might be sore. You didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I guess unless it's like sharp or shooting or like really, really painful, then maybe. I hope not. I don't want to tell you, oh, you did nothing. I mean, but if, again, truly, on the off chance that your muscles are a little sore, do forward fold. So child's pose, forward fold, just regular Uttanasana, maybe some down dog, even though down dog's not a forward fold, but I'm just saying, child's pose, number one, if your back feels a little like, oh, maybe I did a little too much, or I haven't moved in that way in a while, just do child's pose. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. So again, thank you so much for joining me and have a wonderful day. Bye.